Hello, and welcome to our inaugural Old Building Brief. These are a series of informal 5 to 7 minute talks we're going to have about issues dealing with old buildings. I'll be your host for this one. My name is Tom Morrison. I'm an engineer that deals solely with old buildings. And our topic today, to kind of start off this series, is old buildings are different. One of the things we want to talk about in this first blog is about how old buildings are different than new buildings. And how often, if you try to approach an old building the same way you would approach a new building, you can end up into different problems, difficulties. One of the places this is most clear are these two pictures here when we're talking about historic masonry. It's great for discussion because it gives very visual evidence. And here we've got two buildings, one we're going to call a brick building, and one we're going to call stone masonry building. Nice and easy to keep the two separate, and we're just kind of looking at specific aspects here. So these pictures are actually really similar in some aspects, and even though it can be hard to perceive that, they're quite a lot alike. Both of these are showing repairs that were undertaken in the last 10 years. Both these buildings had major repairs done to them within the last 10 years. Both of the repairs that were done to these two buildings were arguably meeting the code. In the brick building, they would have been largely meeting some of the prescriptive measures following Division B. In the stone building, they would have been meeting some of the objectives covered in Division A. Both kind of fitting into that idea. Both of these buildings, the work was done by qualified people in the field. So by qualified, in this case, is referencing qualified to work with masonry. So both of them were qualified masons. There are some differences in what those qualifications can mean. We'll come to that. And both of them, have a 1-year warranty on the work that comes with the construction. It's a little bit different from the warranty that you get when you have different professionals involved, but the 1 year is kind of the norm. Now, these pictures clearly are very, very different. In the brick building, you can see that everything's failed. This building, from the point that we looked at it, had more problems than it likely did before the first set of repairs. The stone building is looking pretty good. Why is there such a big difference? Well, we started off saying old buildings are different. We're going to hit on lots of little topics in these old building briefs about how it can be different. But here we're just talking about masonry. Old buildings are different. These assemblies are different from how we build new masonry assemblies. The materials are different, and the techniques are different. So while the repairs in the brick building would have worked well for new construction, they don't work well in the old building. They are not compatible, is the term I want to hit here and stress. This is incompatible with the existing structure. How do you avoid this? Well, you need to find the right professionals, be it tradespeople that have specific training in these kinds of structures, or design professionals such as ourselves. The idea of getting this compatibility right, making sure that your stress levels, that the materials transition well, that you don't have this disjointed idea of trying to repair a material with something a lot harder and a lot stiffer than what is there in the rest of the structure. One idea you can kind of see it as is if you have a nice mattress on your bed at home. One of the springs in the mattress is having some trouble. So you say, okay, let's take out this spring, and you think, well, this has heavy use. We need something durable. We don't want to replace the mattress all the time, so you replace it with a brick. On one side, it's going to be kind of hard for my liking. People like a firm mattress, but what you see right away and what's obvious is that the mattress is all going to be ripped apart, ripped to shreds by this brick, because you have this one really stiff thing surrounded by something that's much softer. The same happens in structures. In the brick building, this is happening both to the mortar as well as with the bricks. The new bricks they were placed in were not as permeable as the old bricks. This kind of forces the failure into the weaker material. Traditional design was a way they dealt with this. The mortar wore out over 50 years, not over 7 to 10. These repairs should last 50 years, and then you do some repointing on a building, not a 7-year total failure because of strength incompatibilities, because of porosity incompatibilities, because of stiffness incompatibilities, like we're seeing here. So this is why it's important to start thinking about how old buildings are different. We can't be treating them with the same techniques we do in new, because the consequences can be significant. We at Heritage Standings decided to get into doing some of these videos as informal chats. We kind of started this during the COVID-19 pandemic. Just thinking that maybe we can start floating some of these ideas, giving people more food for thought, hopefully giving some people more resources, such as saying, hey, you're looking for professionals that understand why these old buildings are different, what that means. There are organizations like in Canada, the Canadian Association of Heritage Professionals that's helping identify people that know this. In the United States, you've got the Association for Preservation Technology, which also comes into Canada. Internationally, there's the International Council on Monument Sites. There's a lot of these groups that are around that will provide references. Now, we don't want to stop here with our old building briefs. We want to hit on a number of future topics as well, and we want some feedback for anyone that's interested in watching them on other future topics we'll cover. Right now, we're already talking about hitting the simple topics about, one, why are we going to save old buildings? Why is it worth saving old buildings? This is a very important one and often not fully appreciated. There's a lot more value to doing it than people realize. Two, what are some of the standards and guidelines, guidelines that exist to help us, help guide us, help make sure we're getting the best value and recognizing that value of investment? Three, how do the codes apply to old buildings? I mean, we talked here about how both these can be argued to be the codes, but what does this actually mean? People talk a lot about the code. How does that fit into the context? A bit about old and new masonry and how they build them differently. We'll talk about old timber structures. We want to talk about moisture in old buildings, and moisture in old masonry, and moisture in foundations, because this comes into play so often. We're going to be talking about insulating foundations, about how to execute projects, and as I say, we want more ideas from everyone interested in watching our videos. My name is Tom Morrison. You can look up on our website, heritagestanding.ca, if you would like more information on who I am, and some other references that are available for further information includes kind of the standards and guidelines from Parks Canada. There's a website for the Canadian Association of Heritage Professionals, and then two quick references that get more of the technical things about, hey, here's actually the backup for some of the differences in masonry. Thank you very much for your time today, and I hope you come to enjoy future old building briefs.